Travelers hate this, spending more time on the tarmac than in the air, and that is happening thanks to sequester cuts at the FAA, which all stems from politicians not doing their jobs. We're back with Carl Rove. Carl, the sequestration, you fly a lot, I fly a lot of people across the country fly a lot, but what's going to happen?
Well, this is not because of the sequestration cuts. Let's look at the numbers. The FAA budget is about $12.75 billion. That's 750 millions of dollars. They have to cut roughly just under 5%, around $600 million as a result of the sequestration. And what they've decided to do is to do it by taking 10% of the workforce of the FAA, air traffic controllers, and furloughing them. But they have alternatives. They, on their own authority, could take 2% of their budget for consultants. They have $500 million, $500 million in consultants. They can take 2% of that off the top without asking Congress for any approval. They got $325 million for supplies and travel. They can take 2% of that and cut it and apply it, reprogram it to cover the air traffic controllers.
Let me ask you this. I thought the sequestration wasn't really a cut, but it was slowed growth. So I didn't understand why there's any cut to begin with if it's just slowed growth, if they weren't cutting anything. Well, you'd think we'd have the status quo at best. Well,
look, this is because the budget is bigger. And let me give you an example. This is what really gripes me. There's a $474 million new program, a grant program that the FAA gives out to sustainable and livable communities. You'd think that when we have an important function like air traffic controllers, the first thing we do is to take our money and apply it to the things that we already have underway. And instead, they're taking $474 million and developing a new grant program. Why don't they stop that grant program? Why don't they ask Congress for the authority to stop that grant program, or at least take 2% out of less important things like consultants and supplies and travel? Right there, out of those two programs alone, that's $41 million. 2% out of the budget of the entire agency, just taking 2 cents out of it, which would reduce it to the 2008 levels of spending when we had planes flying very safely. That would pay for almost half of the problem. But they got new programs. While they're not able to pay for the important things they already got going, they're thinking about, they have established a new program, livable and sustainable community. It's just idiotic and irresponsible on the part of the administration.
Tomorrow there'll be a lot more unhappy passengers just like today, so we'll wait and see what tomorrow brings. Carl, thank you.
You bet, Greg.